Carly, and in this video I'm going to be giving you guys a spoiler-free book review of The Silent Patient by Alex McGilds, and I am so excited to give this book review to you guys. It has been 2 years since my last book review, so a hot minute, and since then I've been trying to dive into some more genres that might pique my interest. I usually go for romance, but that has been getting a little bit repetitive for me, so I have been jumping into mysteries and thrillers like the one we have here. Now, this book does have a lot of psychological concepts, and this really caught my attention because I just recently graduated with a bachelor's in psychology, so having that background really made it a lot easier when it came to analyzing the book itself. So the premise of the story is that a really successful painter, Alicia Berenson, shoots her husband and then refuses to talk. So throughout the story, we're trying to figure out all the details of the incident and why she's not talking anymore. As you know, we have Alicia Berenson, and she is the main character for our story. And then up next on our character list, we have Theo Faber, and he is a criminal psychotherapist who is really passionate about finding out more about Alicia and pretty much diagnosing her or figuring out what the heck happened. The next character I'm going to introduce you to is Diomedes. He is the head of the Grove and works in the forensic unit that Alicia is being held in. And then we have Christian West, which is Theo's personal therapist, which I probably also won't be discussing too much, just for spoiler purposes, of course. So The Silent Patient follows Theo Faber as he tries to investigate the case of Alicia Berenson, and he does this by finding journal entries and doing a lot of personal research on her. And through this, you can really see the themes in the story, which are mental health, obsession, and I would say dark relations, which you will see when you read the book. Once again, I'm trying to be generous about the information that I give you without giving away the book entirely. So a lot of Alicia's life, she's had a diary where she would write, how she was feeling, and that was a really big keystone when it came to Theo's research and what he was able to know about her, because in each chapter there would be a little excerpt from her diary that kind of was like a window to her, because obviously she's not talking, so actively we're not receiving any information about her, and that's really hard to get to know a character when they don't talk. So by reading all of those journal articles and him reviewing her past, we kind of got to see what kind of person she is, even though she wasn't able to verbally tell us. So the story is very unique in the way that it blends psychological concepts with fiction. Now, this book is fiction, it's not real, it's not based on anybody, but within the book there are a lot of Freudian terms used, like repressed memories and Freud's idea that the unconscious mind has a lot to do with a person's say-so. And with that being said, that made the story so much more compelling and had an increased validity for me, because incorporating a researcher into a fiction piece, I think, is unique, to say the least, and it almost made me feel like the book was real and made me feel like I had a say in the case because I was looking at the background of the information itself. Overall, I think the story has a lot of psychological accuracy. However, when it comes to the forensic psychology of the story, I think there are a lot of gaps. For example, Alicia is sent to the Grove, which is a mental hospital, rather than to prison, because she is let off with the case of insanity. But the case from an outside perspective isn't sound enough to just plead insanity, because she is a grown woman who has had a life other than just this murder. Although the book implies that Alicia has had childhood trauma, it doesn't indicate that through her adult years that she had any type of problems or mental health issues. And with that being said, to dismiss the case on insanity is a little bit premature in my opinion. However, the book says that, you know, research was done on this case for a long time, so I guess as the reader, we just kind of have to trust that that is the case. But having a little bit of background about her is really crucial in the story because you've got every question in your mind of why did she kill this person, and I'm just gonna let you off with a little hint. It's not what you think. It's not what you think at all, and I would recommend for you to read the book if you want that answer, girl. So overall, I gave this Silent Patient a 5 stars out of 5 stars. I haven't given it 5 stars out of 5 stars in a while, but this book was really captivating. It is a #1 New York Times bestseller, so hey, it makes sense. But I would recommend picking this book up if you like a little bit of science of the mind and if you are into the dramatics. I'm all about the dramatics, so that's why I picked this book up. But with that being said, that's the end of this book review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. All my social medias will be linked in the description below, so check those out. And I'll see y'all in my next video. I love y'all. Bye.